Good morning and welcome to Sportuccino. I'm Richard Parr on Friday the 13th of January 2017. Another fantastic weekend of sport coming up. So we've got so much to cover on today's show. We're going to be looking ahead to the big matches in the English Premier League, including Manchester United versus Liverpool. What a cracking game that will be. Leicester versus Chelsea as well. We'll also look ahead to what's going on in Spain and in Italy this weekend. And of course, it's the Africa Cup of Nations. That starts in Gabon on Saturday. We're going to be going live to Africa to get a big preview with an amazing guest. Stay tuned for that. That's coming up on Sportuccino. Plus, we've got our product reviews, we've got our Snapchat goals, we've got statistics, you name it, we've got it in today's Sportuccino. But let's start the day with our morning sports headlines. Real Madrid set a Spanish record of 40 games unbeaten after their 3-3 Copa del Rey draw with Sevilla. Real reached the quarters with a 6-3 aggregate win. A minute's applause will take place before every EFL game in memory of former England manager Graham Taylor, who died on Thursday. Andy Murray and Roger Federer have been drawn in the same quarter of the draw for the Australian Open. And the Denver Nuggets ended a 5-game losing streak with a 140-112 win over the Indiana Pacers at the Global Games in London. Well, today's show, I want to tell you about how we got our logo made. That was with 99 Designs. They create design contests and offer them to talented freelancers from all around the world, and we did that to create our logo, and I'm pretty impressed with it. Let me know what you think of it. And if you would like to get something designed, it could be a website, it could be a logo, it could be a poster, it could be anything like that. Why don't you check them out? There's a link in the description below on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you don't love it, they will offer you your money back. It's a really good service. You get to give so many different revisions. So when we had this logo made, I saw a very basic one and I said, no, change this, tweak that, do this. And it's a really, really good service. I highly recommend it. Check out the link in the Facebook page and on the YouTube page. And if you give it a go, send us a tweet. Let me know what you think about it. Talking about tweets, on our Twitter page at Sportuccino, we do a brand new poll every single weekday morning. Let's have a look at the result of yesterday's poll. And it was asking who would win a fight between Floyd Mayweather and the notorious Conor McGregor. Of course, this fight continues to be rumoured, and there is talk that Mayweather would come out of retirement if he got paid $100 million. That is a lot of moolah. Although apparently Conor McGregor would only get $15 million. That doesn't seem very fair to me. Albeit his record purse, I believe, is $12 million, I think I read. But it's still, that's a massive difference. Especially if Conor McGregor was to beat Mayweather. But according to our poll, you think it's 50-50. You can't decide who would win. And I guess that might be to do with whether it'll be a boxing match or an MMA match or something like that. Or a bare-knuckled street fight. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Let me know what you think about all of that. All right, let's have a look at the poll we've got going on today. And it is, of course, related to the match between Manchester United and Liverpool this weekend at Old Trafford in the English Premier League. The two sides going into this match in different types of form. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but I want you to tell me who you think will win this match. Will it be Manchester United? That's at ManUTD on Twitter. Will it be Liverpool? That's at LFC on Twitter. Or could it be a draw? Of course, they had that very dour draw earlier this season at Anfield. So that is everything that we've got on our Twitter page. And talking about Liverpool and Man U, that leads us nicely into doing a little preview of what's going on in the Premier League. Let's have a look at the matches for Saturday. Well, the last time Tottenham played, they beat the league leaders Chelsea, well, they face West Bromwich Albion in the early game on Saturday. You've got Burnley against Southampton. Of course, Southampton got that good win over Liverpool in the first leg of their EFL Cup semi-final on Wednesday. It's Sunderland versus Stoke. Swansea, they take on Arsenal. Watford against Middlesbrough. Of course, there'll likely be tributes there for the late Graham Taylor, who died this week. West Ham face Crystal Palace in a London derby. And it's Leicester City against Chelsea. Leicester, of course, without Slimani and Mahrez. They're both at the Africa Cup of Nations. So those are the games on Saturday. Let's have a look at what's going on Sunday. Well, it's Everton versus Manchester City, but everyone is talking about the later game in the Manchester versus Merseyside Big Sunday. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is expected to return from illness. United have won their last 6 Premier League games, 9 in all competitions. But listen to this statistic. This is a pretty good one. United are undefeated in their last 10 out of 11 home games against Liverpool. That is a pretty damning statistic. Will it stay true on Sunday? I'd love for you to give me your thoughts on the Facebook page and on the Periscope page. We've already got Maz saying, good morning, Mr. Parr, on the Facebook page. Good morning to you, Maz. Good morning, everyone watching on Periscope and on Facebook. All right, we are multi-channel. We are on all different social media channels, and every single morning we put a brand new statistic or a little bit of history on our Instagram page. Let's have a look at what's on our Instagram page this morning.
Egypt have won the Africa Cup of Nations a record 7 times.
So that is the Africa Cup of Nations. The record time holders are Egypt. And that leads me nicely into introducing my guest on today's Sportuccino. I'm absolutely delighted that we can now join live from Africa the football broadcaster Oluwashina Okeleji. I think I said that right. I'm not very good at that. We practiced before and I think I just bundled it up. Oluwashina, apologies for that. But one thing we won't bundle with you is expert knowledge when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations. It's a very exciting tournament. What we're going to do with Oluwashina this morning is we're going to go through each group, A, B, C and D, and we're going to talk about some of the big matches, ones that we're looking forward to, potentially who could be going through, and also some of the star players. So we've got Group A. We'll start with Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, Cameroon. Lots of interesting things there. Gabon, they reached the quarterfinals last time they hosted. Their opening game is against Guinea-Bissau in that opener on Saturday. How important is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to Gabon, Oluwashina?
Hi, good morning, Richard, and thanks for having me on your show. You're talking undoubtedly one of the biggest stars of African football. A lot of people felt he should have won the African Footballer of the Year, but who was going to deny Riyad Mahrez? He had a fantastic season with Leicester City. He won the Premier League title, and he was undoubtedly one of the stars of the African stars in Europe that season. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is the poster boy of Gabonese football. He's the poster boy of this tournament because Gabon, remember, they co-hosted this same tournament with Equatorial Guinea in 2015. So everyone is looking at Gabon, in 2012. So everyone is actually looking at Gabon and saying Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has a massive role to play in how far the host can go. They have a better way to start their tournament. They've been giving debutants, that is Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, they are known as the African wild dog. They are. It's amazing why you would say a team is the African wild dog, but they've never been at the African Cup of Nations tournament. Their debutants, like I said earlier, Gabon will be facing them in that opening match on Saturday, and everyone will be looking and see how the hosts are going to get started with that one. And And also remember, in that same group, you have Cameroon. Cameroon are 4 times African champions. A lot of people in the world know Cameroon because of their exploit at the 1990 World Cup. They stretched England all the way in that quarterfinals. They became the first African side to reach the quarterfinal stage. So everyone is looking at Cameroon, but that Cameroon that I'm talking about in 1990 is not the same Cameroon that we have right now. They have a name that is domineering. They call them the Indomitable Lions, and that's why they've won the African Cup of Nations 4 times. But now the Lions are really, really struggling in their World Cup qualification. They made it to Gabon in fine form. Everyone is saying this could be the year of the Lions that they will return, but they've never won this tournament since the last one they won in 2002. Coach Hugo Broos is a Belgian. He's put together a great team, and he has the Lorient attacker there, Benjamin Mokanjo, to look forward to. They don't have all the established names like Eto'o of the past. They don't have all the trouble players like a lot of people would say, in their squad anymore. So it's a settled side, the young side, and the man is looking forward to that. But Cameroon will open against Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso are known as the Stallions. They were runners-up in 2013 to Nigeria. They're a fantastic side. They have a player that everyone in English Premier League probably knows. That's Bertrand Traore. He became the youngest international for his country at the age of 15. He's on the books of Chelsea. He's on loan in the Netherlands with Ajax Amsterdam. But his brother Bertrand Traore as well. They are a formidable side, but I think it's going to be difficult for them in that group. For me, I think Group A will probably end up with Gabon topping that group, Cameroon finishing second, Burkina Faso will probably finish third, and Guinea-Bissau will be lucky that they've come to an African party for the very first time.
Very interesting. Let's move on to Group B. We've got Algeria, Senegal, Tunisia, Zimbabwe. To me, this seems like the toughest group to pick. Would you agree?
Yeah, a lot of people would say that, but you haven't seen the other group where you have Ivory Coast, DR Congo, and Morocco in Group C. Here we are talking about 3 former champions. In Group B that you just mentioned now, Algeria, they are the 1990 African champions. They hosted in 1990. They won on home soil, but you're talking about a team blessed with so much attacking powers. They have Riyad Mahrez up front. They have Islam Slimani. They have El Harabi, and everyone is saying, no, this is a formidable side. But they've had 3 managers in the last 6 months. That's not looking good for them. They had a Frenchman who had to leave. He said he wasn't feeling comfortable with that country because he had a lot of pressure from the press. And then in came Rajakav. He's a Serbian, and he left just after 3 months. And now they have George Lekins in charge. And George Lekins is trying as much as possible to restore confidence in the team again, because they did very well at the 2014 World Cup. But in qualification for the World Cup, like I said earlier, they've been struggling. They drew against Cameroon at home and they lost to Nigeria away. And there's so much pressure on George Lekins. So I think they are really, really going to have it tough in that group. It's not a compact side. Everyone says they have talent, but it's not a compact side. So it might really be difficult for them. In Senegal, you're looking at a team that finished runners-up in 2002. In 2002, they haven't really done well. Last time out in 2015, we had so much expectations, and now they have Sadio Mane, who is really in great form. In 2015, Sadio Mane was struggling for form. Now he's flying with Liverpool, and everyone will be hoping he can translate that form into the national side. Aliou Cisse is their manager. He's a former international. He's well known across Africa. They were unbeaten in African qualifiers, and they won all their matches. So you're looking at a side that will probably present troubles for a lot of people there. They have Cheikhou Kouyaté from West Ham. They have a whole lot of stars to look forward to there. And in Tunisia, you have the 2004 champions. They always do well at home, but when they go out, they struggle. In 2015, they proved everyone wrong. They went all the way, getting as far as the quarterfinals, where they faced the host country there. Remember that that's game that actually led to the referee, making some questionable decisions, and the referee was eventually suspended because a lot of people felt he favored the host, the Equatorial Guinea. And Tunisia, the players lost their heads, and some of them were suspended and all of that, but they've bounced back now. Under Henri Kaspasiak, they have a veteran manager who knows everything about African football. He's coming to his 8th African Cup of Nations, and he's highly experienced when it comes to that. They have Wabi Kashri from Sunderland to look at, and he's one player that will probably set them going And of course, they have Heyman Habdana. Everyone is talking about him. He's flying with Valencia. Everyone expected him to come to the English Premier League. He didn't eventually make that trip, but he's one of their key stars there. And also, you have Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a funny one. They have undoubtedly one of the finest name in African football. They are known as the Warriors, but these Warriors are always struggle to actually come to the African party. The last time they came, that was in 2006. Yeah, they finished in the second round, and it was unbelievable because back then they had a whole lot of stars that everyone was looking at. They have Benjamin Mariwari from Manchester City, remember him, and of course Portsmouth. But then they just left. They exited the tournament in the first round. Now they are coming again. They look very well under Callisto Pasua, but they've been pitted in a group that is very, very difficult for them. They'll be lucky to get a point in Gabon, but they can look up to Knowledge Musona, who's flying in the Belgian league with Ostend. Everyone is talking about him in Belgium right now, and he's the top scorer, and he's that man that you want to turn to. But they would need more than Knowledge to succeed in Gabon.
So Group C for you is what they would call in some parts of the world as the Group of Death. Ivory Coast, Morocco, DR Congo, Togo. Ivory Coast, of course, defending champions. No Yaya Toure this time. Is that going to affect them a lot?
Well, they've struggled without Yaya Toure. Some people are convinced that they are shining without Yaya Toure, but I think they've struggled in qualifiers. In a three-team group, they actually struggled. They only made it in the last game against Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone almost upset them there, and they haven't really looked convincing. They have Michel Dossier, who is saying to everybody that he has the best elephants ever assembled together. Remember, they won this tournament in 1992, and then they had to wait for the golden generation to achieve success. They couldn't achieve it without Didier Drogba, without all the other big stars. They eventually won in 2015. There's no Kolo Toure, there's no Yaya Toure. The brothers are out of there, and then Javinho is out with injury. They've put together a young team. They've really, everybody calls it a signing. They've got Wilfried Zaha, and everyone is talking about Wilfried Zaha now because it started very well for them. Former England international, remember, is now playing for his bed country, Ivory Coast, and is a top signing for them. They still have Wilfried Bony up front, but Jonathan Kojia, who is from Aston Villa, is the man to watch for the Ivorians there. But they have DR Congo. DR Congo finished third at the last tournament in 2015. They've been champions twice already. And Florent Mbengue is undoubtedly the finest local coach in African football right now, in international football. Everyone is talking about him because his team, everyone says that the dark horses, and everyone is talking about them, that they could surprise a lot of people. They don't have Yannick Bolasie. They have Diomasi Mbokani from England as well coming into this tournament.
I think we've lost Oluwashina there. We'll try and get him back. Let's just see what we can do. We'll try and get Oluwashina back to talk about Group D in just a moment. Just before we do that, why don't we have a look at the fantastic interview we had yesterday. We were speaking to Isabel Musi, looking forward to the Australian Open. The full interview is at sportuccino.com. Have a look at that. And the thing with that interview is we were talking about Novak Djokovic. He's going for a record 7th title in Melbourne. And according to Isabel, she thinks that Djokovic is going to be back on form in Melbourne.
Previously on Sportuccino.
I think he's found his motivation back. I mean, you could see, I actually didn't see the match, but I've read a lot about his battle against Murray in Doha last Saturday. And obviously he lost his temper quite a few times. And I think he was really eager to just show that he's still the boss of tennis. So, I think we'll see the Djokovic we used to see. I think he's past his little crisis, that he had after winning Roland Garros and trying to find new goals to set up. And yeah, it'll be very interesting for sure.
So we're about to get Oluwashina back. Let's try and bring him back on the screen. There we go. Oluwashina, great to have you. Thanks for coming back. Let's quickly talk about Group D. So in Group D, we have got Ghana, Mali, Uganda and Egypt. What do we expect to happen from that?
The return of Egypt is the talk of the competition. Egyptians are the most successful team at this tournament. They've won a record 7 titles, and they have Mohamed Salah. He's playing for AS Roma. People in England will probably remember him for Chelsea when he was at Chelsea. And they have Hector Cooper in charge now, and Hector Cooper has actually molded them together. I've tipped them to win this tournament, and everyone think I'm crazy, but I think the return of the Egyptians is it's actually good for African football. They dominate. They won 3 titles in a row, and you don't see any other side that like a team. They are a compact team. They stopped Nigeria from coming to this tournament because they won that group involving Nigeria during qualification. So everyone is saying, yeah, they could potentially be a team to look at, but because they've been absent for so long, some people are questioning them. But I think they'll probably surprise a lot of people in Gabon. Then you have Ghana. Ghana have won titles. They have 4 titles to show for their own abilities. Everyone say Abraham Grant hasn't really showed that this team can actually win the tournament, that they don't have the mentality to do it. They still have Asamoah Gyan as captain. They have Andre Ayew and his brother Jordan Ayew. Andre Ayew is the man that makes things work for Ghana. If he's at best, the Western player, if he's at his very best, Ghana could potentially be the team to watch. They were finalists at the last edition. They lost that remarkable shootout against Ivory Coast. But for me, I don't think they have the mentality to actually win this tournament. And then you have Mali, a young side. Mali, they've finished third place several times. And everyone is saying, look, Mali, they don't have all the former stars like, Seydou Keita, Momo Sissoko, you name them. Nowadays, they have young boys who've made it at the under 17 and under 20 level, but it's really, really difficult for them. They have an experienced manager in Alan Joes. He's coming into this tournament as well at the back of having attended 3 previous editions, and it's going to be really, really difficult for Mali in that group. Uganda, they're returning after a 39-year absence, runners up in 1978. And I don't think we had I don't think we had color TV in Africa the last time they were at this tournament. So they're really coming back, and they have a manager they have a Serbian manager who's really turned things around for them. But the Cranes will really struggle in that group because I expect Egypt and Ghana to finish first and second in that group, and probably Mali third. It will be difficult for Uganda. But hey, what a nice way to have them back, because the Cranes, they've got colorful fans. They've got they're unpredictable during qualifiers. Ghana always struggle against them. Egypt will tell you that as well. So we were looking at this tournament and saying, for another 2 years now, the last tournament in 2015 got everyone talking. This one in Gabon will get a whole lot of people talking, because the very best of African stars will be playing in this biennial tournament.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait for it to start on Saturday. It's been so great to hear your knowledge, Oluwashina. Just quickly, before you go, tell us how we can follow your fantastic journalism throughout the tournament via social media channels and anything else you'd like to promote, please.
Yeah, I'll be on. I'm always on Twitter. It's at Oluwashina, Oluwashina. I think that's the only place you can find me, because I'm rarely on Instagram. But that's the only place you can find me, and I'll be there giving updates from the tournaments, who are the stars to look at, who are the pre-tournament favorites, and all of that. I'll be talking about all that on Twitter every day during the tournament.
Perfect. Well, it's been so great to hear from you this morning. Oluwashina, talking everything to do with the Africa Cup of Nations. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me, Richard, and have a great show.
Thanks a lot there to Oluwashina for being live on Sportuccino. Now, I was actually lucky enough to go to the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa, an absolutely amazing event. And that leads me on to today's travel tip. Well, as well as being in South Africa for the Africa Cup of Nations in 2013, I went back to Cape Town 2 years later at the end of 2015 to visit a good friend of mine, Mr. Robin Adams. And that is today's travel tip. And that is, try and travel to visit friends. Go and visit friends on your travels. Because I would say that some of the best holidays I've had is when I know someone from that area. Like, as well as Cape Town, I visited a friend in Barcelona. the whole trip improved because they knew the good local restaurants, the good things to do, the cheap places to go, and avoiding some of the real tourist traps. Like, I don't mind being in touristy areas, but it's nice to see the side from the local. Like, I went to San Diego. I've got friends there who showed me all of the cool places, the nice places, the fun places to go. You know, I then later went to Los Angeles, didn't know anyone, pretty much had a pretty dreadful time. And Los Angeles isn't terrible, but unless you know where you're going, it isn't great for you. So today's travel tip is try and make your travels around where your friends are. So moving on, what we love to do on this show is set our goals, because we should be doing that for every 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. That's what the real elite athletes do, and I know all about that from my podcast, The Best in the World with Richard Parr. In fact, this week I was speaking to the Olympic rowing champion, Matt Langridge. Go and check that out. It's at richardparr.net. And to try and help improve my life, I'm trying to set myself a goal every single day, and it's something you can get involved with as well. And let's have a look at what my goal is today on our Snapchat page at Sportuccino.
So Roger Federer sleeps up to 10 hours a night. Working on today's Sportuccino meant I've only had 4 hours sleep, so that is related to my goal of the day. It's actually to do something I'm not normally very good at, and that's actually to have an afternoon nap. That's my goal of the day. What's yours?
Great again, Luke involved on the Facebook page. He says the Warriors are back. Huge game Sunday afternoon. Yes, they certainly are. Luke, of course, is DJ L Train. Check out his music. Of course, excellent stuff. There's so much still to cram into the last 4 minutes of this show. So quickly, let's have a look at what's going on in Spain and Italy this weekend. Well, in Spain, it's Barcelona facing Las Palmas. Of course, Barcelona could only manage a draw with Villarreal, 1-1 last week, thanks to a really late Lionel Messi free kick. Atletico Madrid, they seem to be getting back into a little bit of form. Griezmann got on the score sheet in their last game when they won 2-0. That was his first league goal since October. They face Betis this weekend. Deportivo faced Villarreal. Of course, they had that good result against Barcelona last week. But it's all about Real Madrid these days. They're 5 points clear at the top of the table. They're away at Sevilla though. Sevilla are doing pretty well this season, but the two teams played already this week. They played last night, in fact, in the Copa del Rey. As we mentioned in the headlines, it finished 3-3. Real Madrid needed a late goal from Karim Benzema to make a record-breaking 40 games unbeaten in Spain in all competitions. Italy's Serie A, Lazio face Atalanta. Udinese face Roma. Of course, Roma won't have Mohamed Salah because he is playing for Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations. Good chat with Oluwashina earlier. Napoli face Pescara, and it is the league leaders and defending champions. They are away at Fiorentina. That is, of course, Juventus. That should be a pretty tasty game. All right, let's move on. It is time for our sports, health and fitness product review. It's going to have to be a pretty quick one. Today we are talking about the Whole Earth Organic Sparkling Ginger. There it is on your screen. A bit of quick information about it. There's 35 calories per 100 grams, so this is 330. That's never useful for anyone when they do it like that. So what's that? 140 calories, roughly around about that. 8.2 grams of carbs per 100 grams. Ingredients: sparkling water, apple juice, agave syrup, grape juice. Oh, there's a lot of ingredients here. Ginger root extract, clear lemon juice. So it's organic, It's not really very healthy, I don't think, for you. No artificial colours, flavours or preservatives are involved in it. Made with agave syrup, as I mentioned. Alright, crucially, there's only one thing we need to know is, does it taste any good? So let's crack this bad boy open. Oh wow, that's very gingery for 8:29 in the morning. That's a bit too much. Have you tried it before? Let me know. Try it out. It's the Whole Earth Organic Sparkling Ginger. You know what? It is actually pretty tasty. I actually quite like that. I'm going to quite enjoy drinking this. I'm not a ginger ale, a sparkling ginger ale type of person at 8:30 in the morning, but I actually think that is worth doing and worth getting. That is today's product review. We've got a link to it on our YouTube and our Facebook page. You go straight to Amazon, so we do get a little kick from it. But once you try it, let me know what you think all about it. That is today's sports, health and fitness product review. Wow, we've really crammed in a lot of today's Sportuccino. We're running overtime, but I need to tell you that this weekend I will be in Blackpool for the WWE UK Championship. I'll be meeting up with Paul Benson, who has previously been on our show talking everything about wrestling, and we're going to be watching the WWE UK Championship. So on Monday, we're going to be live from Blackpool. We're going to be live from Blackpool Football Club. Check that out, live from 8 GMT. Let's have a quick chat about the brackets of this tournament. You've got Tyler Bate versus Tucker, Jordan Devlin versus Danny Birch, Trent Seven versus HC Dyer, Wolfgang versus Tyson T-Bone, Mark Andrews versus Dan Maloney, James Drake versus Joseph Connors, Pete Dunne versus Roy Johnson, and Saxon Huxley versus Sam Gradwell. That is across 2 nights in Blackpool. Follow all the developments on our Twitter page at Sportuccino. All right, quickly before we go, let's have a reminder of today's sports headlines.
Real Madrid set a Spanish record of 40 games unbeaten after their 3-3 Copa del Rey draw with Sevilla. Real reached the quarters with a 6-3 aggregate win. A minute's applause will take place before every EFL game in memory of former England manager Graham Taylor, who died on Thursday. Andy Murray and Roger Federer have been drawn in the same quarter of the draw for the Australian Open. And the Denver Nuggets ended a 5-game losing streak with a 140-112 win over the Indiana Pacers at the Global Games in London.
As well as being live from Blackpool, we'll also have the football expert, the sports broadcaster, live from Ghana, Thierry Nian. He's going to be talking about the matches which have happened in the Africa Cup of Nations over that weekend. All right, we've come towards the end of the show. So all I ask for you is to share this video. Please, if you haven't followed us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Also like us on Facebook and also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. It's all under Sportuccino, SPORTUCCINO. Really appreciate it if you can start sharing the love, telling people about the show so we can build an even greater sports breakfast community. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. As I mentioned, I'll be in Blackpool enjoying the wrestling. Whatever you're up to, go and enjoy yourself, or just stay in the warm if you're in England because it's getting cold and the snow is coming apparently. Anyway, I've been Richard Parr. You've been watching Sportuccino, and I will be back with you on Monday from 8 GMT. Goodbye for now.